Hey guys, Tyler here. So if you have been following the channel, you might know that I have the Oculus Quest from a while right now, and of course thanks to Oculus to send it over, and I wanted to wait a little longer for the review because I wanted to see the situation with all the games out on the store and also how the community were reacting and moving after, of course, the launch of this new headset. So here we are with the most awaited Oculus Quest review to understand together if this is a real deal, if this is the right move to just teach the power of a PC or a console and just to rely on a mobile chipset for a fully standalone headset with a 60OF for the head and controller, or if this is just a gimmick gadget to just leave on the shelves. So without further ado, let's get to it. And let's start like always, talking about some specs. The Oculus Quest has two OLED display 1440 by 1600 in resolution that works at 72 Hz. It has a manual IPD adjustment from 68 to 72 mm. The FOV is 110 degrees and it uses Fresnel lenses. It's powered by a Snapdragon 835 with 4 GB of RAM with an active cooling system. The battery life is from 2 to 3 hours and it comes in two configurations, 64 and 128 GB. It weighs 571 grams. It has integrated audio and microphone with volume rocker, power button, and two headphone jacks. It has 4 cameras for tracking and pass-through, and it comes with 2 controllers in the box. I want to start this review talking about build quality because this headset feels and breathes quality itself. The construction is very refined and in the ends feels sturdy and compact, coming in like the perfect Oculus Rift successor. But is it? Well, actually no, the Oculus Quest is the first of its kind. You see, you get used to the VR as a gimmick where we had to have the most powerful PC. But here we have something completely different. We have a product that is closer to a mobile console like the Nintendo Switch than to another VR headset of its kind. Everything is contained in here and everything is ready from out of the box. So when you take it out of the box, it's really a matter of minutes to actually start to play, making VR more accessible even to the least techie person out there. Wearing it is very easy. It's like to put on like a baseball hat, and heavy one actually, thanks to the well-known Oculus strap design, where we have 2 straps on the side and 1 on the top. So VR airs are pretty much a thing over here as well. And it uses this rubbery part on the back to actually cup your crane and keep it in balance. There are a lot of regulations possible for this headset, and also the way that it can tilt in this way is very useful if you want just to take a look outside. But the comfort is not a strong part of this device. The weight is a little distributed too much in the front where all the hardware lies. The face cushion does a great job for like light bleeding, so there's no light coming from exterior, unless of course if you consider the part of the nose that is kind of an Oculus signature with we don't understand why they keep going in this way, so you're able to see probably your phone and your feet as well, understand a little the position. But yeah, it does a great job, but it's not the most comfortable too because this texture is kind of scratchy on your face. Luckily, it's also removable, and we all know that there are third-party solutions out there for a better comfort. But you're not gonna find yourself wearing that for too long anyway because of the battery life that is not really over the 2 or 3 hours mark. And also you're gonna need after a little break because to charge the battery you're gonna take around other 2 hours and 15 minutes. You don't have to worry about putting headphones on anyway because the audio is included in the strap. That means that there are 2 little speakers firing directly into your ears, and I have to say that the audio is pretty good, by the way. It's really enjoyable. Of course, if you want the best audio up there, you have the solution of not 1 but well 2 headphone jacks, so you can just connect any headphones that you want. The strap is pretty small, so it's never gonna get in the way. But I didn't find myself using external audio sources that much unless with my Vader Immortal playthrough because I really wanted the best immersion in there. But anyway, good audio, very enjoyable. The power of a standalone headset is pretty much this one. When you wear it, well, it's pretty much done. Everything is included in there. You get in and the first thing you're gonna see is the world around you through these cameras out here, and you're gonna be able to create your guardian system, so the area, your play space area, where you're gonna be able to move freely without any problem. The guardian system is also very interesting because when you go over the boundaries that you create, you can see your world in a stereoscopical view. Now, this is not a perfect stereoscopical view because the size of the things is really small and like it doesn't feel that right, but you're not gonna find yourself in there that long anyway because like there's nothing to do in there, but it's very useful if you want to just grab a drink or something like that, or just understand your orientation in the room. And the cameras that you see through are for also the inside-out tracking, or as Oculus call it, the inside tracking, that is gonna get the orientation and the position in space of your headset and of your controllers. Be aware though that because you are relying on cameras, you have to actually play in a pretty lit place where you need at least enough light to actually read on a paper, and it's better to avoid reflective surfaces or mirrors in the rooms because they could create some problems. But other than that, you're gonna be able to play your games in a matter of seconds. And because they're tracked by the camera, talking about the controllers, they're still the best of its kind. They're very comfortable, a little smaller than the first generation, and I have to say, if you have a big hands like me, well, the gripping is not gonna be the best for the pinky. That is gonna be like pretty much at the end of the controller, but so far they do a great job for hand immersion because every single button is also a capacitive surface, so they're gonna understand if your thumbs is up or you can point, and you have a really good representation of your hands in the game. Now, the thumbstick is a little on the small side, so it doesn't have that much play. And talking about batteries, well, the battery life to the controllers is around 20 hours, pretty much, with the batteries that were integrated. So I really suggest to use a rechargeable battery. I'm gonna leave the link below of the one that I'm using, but any rechargeable battery is actually good. That's it. Back to the tracking, is actually pretty good. It used 4 cameras, so it's better than the solution that we saw in the past with Windows Mixed Reality, but it's still not perfect. But because of the software, you're gonna be able to just grab things on your back or like on the side of on everywhere in the position without any problem if you keep the movement, because they're gonna rely also on all the sensor in the controllers to understand the momentum of the movement and calculate a little where your hands is gonna be, and that works pretty well. So in the game you're not gonna have much problems for immersions, but if you stop out of the side of the camera, well, these controllers are gonna just be fixed in place and just the rotational is gonna happen when then you're gonna get back in the position in front of the cameras. Those are gonna snap back in and you're gonna be able to use it regularly. So it works, it's not perfect, but it's actually one of the only solution possible is the standalone headset, because you can't of course rely on external sensors when everything is included in here. So to be honest, I didn't find major problems playing and didn't infiltrate the immersion in the games, so it's actually okay. And it's talking about games that we actually find 50 plus games to start with on the Oculus Quest. Those range from very famous VR games in the past like Super Hot, Robo Recall, or the most famous games out there, probably Beat Saber, to actually games that are gonna keep you playing and playing for forever, like social apps like VR Chat or more like Orbus VR. The starting lineup is very strong and perfect to introduce new people to VR, and many more games are gonna arrive in the future. We know already some devs that are working on very interesting game for the Oculus Quest. And Oculus itself is making sure that the quality of the games arriving is actually an high standard. So you're not gonna see many early access game, actually not at all, but just games that are finished and ready to have a good experience, like in a console environment, because at the end of the day, this is considered like the first console of VR. Also, the game, they don't take really much space. Having all the games of the library installed on it, I still have around 5 GB free on my system. That means that you don't have to worry too much about getting the one with more storage if you want to actually try to save some bucks. The 64GB version is gonna be totally fine. Here we are anyway, running these games on a mobile chipset, a Snapdragon 835 that is actually a 2 years old chipset that we saw on the Samsung Galaxy S8, for example. So it's not the most powerful chipset out there, and of course it's not gonna have the power of a PC. I made some very well received comparison if you want to check them out between the PC version and the Oculus Quest version of the same game. But we have to say that the Quest use every little trick to actually push the graphics as much as possible in games. That means that you're gonna use lower resolution than the one that you have on the panels. We're gonna talk about that in a second. And also the use of the fixed foveated rendering, and that is the technology where you actually have a higher resolution in the center than on the edges. And that is gonna take a lot of workload out from the processor. And to be honest, that is not that noticeable in games. If you wanna notice, of course, it's there, but when you're playing, everything kind of disappear and the fun just take the part of it. I have to say though that during my gameplays I found some stutter, tearing and some frame drops during like the most powerful and most intensive games. It's nothing that destroyed the experience, by the way, but it's worth a mention. Probably it's fixable in the future, but still I have to say it because that happens time to time. And coming from graphics, of course, talking about VR headset, we have to talk about visuals. So the Quest used two Fresnel lenses with an FOV of 110 degrees. They're actually kind of best in class. The God rays are pretty much gone, but there are some glaring out there when you are in dark area. When you have some bright objects in the middle, and the sweet spot is very big. Also, it's easier because you can actually match the position of your eyes with the manual IPD adjustment that they decided to ditch in other version of their headsets. S-Panel used two OLED display, 1440 by 1600 in resolution, that, just to put it in perspective, is the same resolution of the Vive Pro over here, that is a $1,200 headset with all you need to play it. So it's actually impressive. So these OLED displays deliver very rich color and very deep blacks. But of course, as we said before, we're not gonna use the full resolution of it because there's not much power inside the headset to use it. But having a higher resolution display in there actually help for the screen door effect that of course is still there, but is not that noticeable anyway if you come from the first generation of VR headset. And if you don't know about the screen door effect, well, it's pretty much the space that there is in between the pixels. So you see a little grid, but as I said, is not that noticeable. So the experience with these displays is very good, so you're gonna be able to watch movies and play games without any problem. And also using application like VR Desktop, you're gonna be able to use your desktop apps in here and maybe just work a little using the Wi-Fi connection and just streaming what you see on your device. So it's very nice to have actually the possibility to have this kind of display in here. The only thing about it is that you can't really use it in the dark, so if you wanna watch movies and stuff like that, well, you still need to have a light out there, or you have to switch to a different headset like the Oculus Go that is more as a multimedia headset out there. And the last thing that I want to talk about visuals is actually the 72 Hz display. Now this is particular because everyone told us that 90 Hz was actually the sweet spot, where if you go lower than that, well, you're gonna get motion sickness. And well, I have to say that 72 Hz is noticeable, so is for sure noticeable like when you go down from 90 Hz, but you still can get used to it. At the beginning, I was feeling a little weird after my playing session, but it helps also the fact that you can't play for longer than 2 hours because the battery life is not there. And if it's your first time in VR, just take it calm and take your time to do smaller sessions, and then you're gonna grow your VR legs too, and you're gonna be able to stay in the headset longer and longer until the end of the battery. Or if you're a real pro, then you're gonna probably get a battery pack or just use it with the cable on the USB Type-C and just keep going forever and ever, because it also has an integrated cooling system. So that is not really a problem, never overheat, and it always stay cool on the face. So don't worry about that. But coming to the conclusions, this is not the most powerful headset, this is not the most comfortable headset, this doesn't have the best visual, this doesn't have the best battery life. It's not the best in anything, beside the fact that it's portable and it's actually the first in something. This is the first standalone headset out there. That means that really this opens so many possibilities to all the people out there that never tried VR, never had the opportunity to do it because of the really high price to get into it, because not everybody has a PC, not everybody wants to get a PC, or some people just don't like a PSVR or PlayStation, so they never had the opportunity to get in VR. And well, with this, actually everything gets very, very easy. The software is that easy that everyone can use it, and the price point is not that high considering what you have in here. Everything is included, everything is ready out of the box, and starting from $399 you can actually start to enjoy your games and get in VR for the first time and get excited and make people excited. So now, if you are coming from a PC VR, and probably you are if you're following this channel because we are a VR tech channel, well, I have to tell you, this is still a good option, a good something to put on the side of your PC VR headset, because yes, you're not gonna have the best graphics as we said, but still the portability and the fact that you don't have wires and you don't have to turn on your PC every time, it just give you a reason to use it more and more every time. And also all the apps that are coming out and we talked about in the past videos, well, that makes it very, very interesting headset to have. This is not gonna substitute your PC VR headset by any means, but as I said, it's a great companion for it as well. 5 years ago, talking about a standalone headset like all-in-one, integrated and wireless were just madness. And well, here we are with this first standalone headset, this first VR console ready for everybody. So would I suggest it? Well, absolutely, VR is on a path. VR is maturing and becoming better and better every time, and this is the best example of Oculus being in a quest for actually the mainstream. But anyway guys, that was all. Let me know what you think about the Oculus Quest. I am really, really enjoying it, and I think that you can see from the review, even if it's not perfect out there and many people are gonna just stay with their PC VR, I think again this is a best companion and something that many people should get in because it's the best way to show VR to people. But let me know what is your spin, what you think about this headset, and if you have it already. And as always guys, if you liked the video, like, if you didn't like the video, dislike, subscribe to the channel for more about VR tech, because also the Oculus Rift test review is coming, and then the Index, and then the HP Reverb, and many others. Here we are a VR tech channel talking about VR technology, so stay tuned for more, because VR is not going anywhere. And yeah, again, thanks for watching, I see you guys next video. Ciao!